Welcome to the XYZ Experiment podcast. Today I have Luke, our Gen Z, and Fiona, our Gen X, and I am Darsh, your Gen Y. And today we are going to talk about haircuts, both the good, the bad, and what we were influenced by as we were growing up in terms of the hairstyles that we had. I want to start with a story that was slightly traumatic for me, which I had no control over. So it wasn't a haircut I picked, but my mum did a really kind thing in terms of, as I was about to start year 7, said, you can get a special haircut. And so we went to a hairdresser we didn't normally go to. She was highly recommended in our community. And her claim to fame is that she had cut Margret Thatcher's hair. And in her little salon area, there's a picture of Margret Thatcher. So I am 12. Margret Thatcher in photo with the hairdresser, I don't know, would have been in her 60s or so, even older. And I walked out with a Margret Thatcher haircut. And so I started year 7 looking like a brown 12-year-old.
Were you expecting that? Like, were you
No.
expecting a more like a more modern cut based on her experience?
I was just expecting a good haircut, I guess. But I have learnt over the years, which we can come back to, as to how to describe or what to tell a hairdresser of what I want in a haircut. And I
Mm.
think when I was young, that wasn't something that you did. You just went and said, I either want it short or I want it long or I want, but you didn't give really specific details as to what the cut needed to look like. And I don't know. My interpretation is she gives everyone a Margaret Thatcher haircut. That's her style.
Is that like a little bit like Princess Diana style as well?
It had like really short waves.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
And it,
yeah.
it was so hideous, and it was so hideous to grow out. So traumatized by that experience.
So you hated it? Like when you,
Hated it.
what'd your
Hated
mum
it.
say? What'd
I
your mum
don't think
say
my
about the
mum, and
special
I
haircut?
never verbalized it. Like I never verbalized how much I didn't like it. But I think from then on, I was like, well, I grew it out long after that, and I had long hair for most of high school. I kind of went short and long, but yeah, I was really traumatized by that.
So what are your rules around hairdressing now?
Mm.
Well,
What,
now I get my hair cut quite often because I do have short hair. I This is going to sound really weird, but the people who cut my hair the best are gay men.
yeah, yeah.
And so I do tend to prefer gay men as my hairdresser. I've
Hmm.
had a few over the time. And I tend to take a photo. I'll talk about my hair texture. I know I have a double crown. So my hair does a weird thing at the back of my head. So there's things I know we have to avoid.
Mm.
Yes.
I do prefer having my hair shaved underneath or like an undercut, because my hair is very, very thick. And yeah, so there's definitely rules about that. And I have a different cut for summer than I do for winter.
Mhm.
So they're my basic rules at the moment. But interested to hear about your stories about what your hair has been like as you've gone through your ages.
Fee, it sounds like from what we talked about, you had a range of different hairstyles that you went through.
I lived through the 80s. So the hairstyles were insane in the 80s. Although I always had a bob through the 80s. I remember my first haircut, my first traumatic haircut was when I was about 7, I think. About 7. It's when we owned a restaurant. It was the hairdresser across the road. And when I used to have very, very long hair and I used to suck the ends of my hair, like my hair was
Mm.
always in my mouth. I didn't eat it, like I know people eat their hair. I didn't do that, but I would suck my hair quite a lot. And it drove my mum really, really bananas. So she said to me that it was time for me to get a haircut. And so we went to the hairdresser, and the hairdresser, obviously, I didn't say anything about what sort of haircut I wanted. Mum's just telling her what I want. And my hair was cut so short, it was insane how short it was cut from where it was to where it it went. So I couldn't get the hair into my mouth, of course. But I found it a really traumatic experience, like not the haircut itself, but afterwards. Maybe a loss of identity, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And then also a loss of obviously sucking my hair. Could have been anything like, sucking your thumb or
Self-soothing.
biting. Yeah, self-soothing. I'd lost that self-soothing. And I mean, this is 50 years ago, and remember it like a
Yeah.
core memory. I remember it so strongly. Now, I don't blame my mum or anything like that. They just thought they were doing the right thing for me, to cut my hair. But since then, from that sort of very, very young age, I too am quite particular about my hair, about who cuts it and what I do with it and things like that. And like if I find a hairdresser that I like, I stay with that hairdresser well forever until I move, until I physically move, then I have to find somebody new. And finding somebody new can be quite traumatic for me.
Yes, so
Mm.
Quite
true.
traumatic. Yeah, yeah. So and yeah, so I find it really hard to change hairdressers, really, really hard.
And your current hairdresser is?
So, so when I moved to, so I've only, in my adult life, I've only had three hairdressers. I had
Mm.
one in Geraldton for like 20 years. And then when I moved to Perth, I went to her very good friend, Donna, who cut my hair for about another 10 years. And then when I moved to Melbourne, I went to a hairdresser who, um, uh, uh, used to cut my sister's hair, well, cuts my sister's hair. But then a couple of years ago, he announced that he was moving to Italy. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do to get my hair cut now? But he flies back from Italy he comes maybe 3 or 4 times a year. And so whenever he's coming, he sends me a WhatsApp message and I go see him and get my hair cut. And that's
Wow.
why my hair's got so long. I used to always have a bob for years and years and years in Melbourne, but because he's now moved, I just get it cut whenever he comes into town, so because he's the only one I trust to cut my hair. Because the other thing about getting my hair cut is I only like my hair cut dry. I don't like my hair being cut wet at all. I don't like a wet
Mm.
haircut because you cut my hair wet and my hair really springs. And so, I have a fringe. I don't have a fringe at the moment, but I have a fringe that's cut to here. And then when it dries, it's here.
Yeah.
So I'm really, and my hairdresser, Jamie, cuts my hair dry. So I'm really particular and it's hard to find hairdressers that cut dry, really, really hard. So, what about you, Luke? Do you have trauma or is it just,
I wouldn't say necessarily trauma. I think that growing up, I didn't have a lot of um like my family members, there was not like a versatile range of haircuts to go with. Like you just kind of got like short and cropped for like the majority of my childhood. But growing up, I loved watching wrestling. And there were a couple of wrestlers. There's one called Shawn Michaels and one called Jeff Hardy, and I thought they were the coolest people ever. And so, like, I always aspired to have quite long hair. But what would tend to happen with just, my hairstyle, I guess, or my kind of whatever, is as it would grow, it would kind of just buff out like this. And basically, my parents would just at some point be like, "Nah, too buffy, go back to the short look."
Ah!
And
So your
and
parents would say that, not you saying that.
yeah, yeah, they'd be like, "You look like a buff head. Time to like get it sheared off." And then as I kept kind of growing, and the years kept going, there was a point in like the late 2000s where it wasn't like hair metal hairstyles were back, but there was this kind of, I don't know if you guys remember this kind of weird kind of, it was like a full buffy, long kind of mane looking hairstyle, and you'd have like your hair like coming onto your face.
yeah,
Yes.
the Nirvana look?
Yeah, so it was kind
Yeah.
of like that that style, and I was just trying to grow my hair out really long, but it ended up unintentionally becoming like that.
Mm.
And I don't think my parents liked it at all. But I was getting to a point where like they just had to like let me do it. And it was only until like, and there were points where I was looking in the mirror and I was like, yeah, this is not working. But when I found out, because there was a point where I was about 16, 17, when I was like, oh, I really want to like donate. Like I'd love to be able to donate and like help the world, but I've got no money. And then I found out about this concept of like you can donate your hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that's amazing. And it kind of gave me the motivation to continue like growing it out. And then my mum, like, I don't know if they really loved it to be completely honest, but I was like, oh, but it's like Anthony Kiedis, like it's cool, it'll be awesome. And it did actually end up growing out pretty well. And then I chopped it off to donate to charity, and I like got my mum to cut it, so there was no real hairstyle there. And that was at the end of 2018. And since then, so that's what, almost 8 years now, I've never really had a go-to hairstyle.
Have
I've
you got a
never,
go-to
no,
hairdresser?
they just switch around depending on who I'm around. They're like, you should go see this person. I've never really had a hairstyle that I'm like, that's what I love, keep it like this. It just kind of, when it gets too overgrown, I go and get it cut. But I don't really have a go-to hairstyle at the moment since growing it out long, which is like a low maintenance haircut because I wouldn't get it cut. It was just like, just grow it as long as you can because all the hair will be donated. Since then, just whenever.
Do you go to the barber or the hairdresser?
I've done both. At the
Yeah.
moment, I'm doing a hairdresser.
Okay. Okay. It's it's interesting the way that you say about you don't do a lot because I don't do a lot with my hair anymore either. But I used to do a lot with my hair and spend a significant amount of money on my hair. You know, with the haircut every 6 weeks, a color on
Mm-hmm.
top of that. I'd
Mm-hmm.
spend hours at the hairdresser getting
Mm.
all streaks, whatever I
Mm,
was going to do with my hair at the time. I've been every color under the sun. I've been
Same.
blonde, I've been orange, I've been dark brown. I've never been black. At the moment, I'm tinsel, all the different colors. But yeah, I used to spend like, and if you add it all up, it's like thousands of dollars within a year, like really a lot of money. And then as I've got older, I've let the natural color come through, but I had to work my way to that. I did streaks for a long time to let the gray work its way through until eventually my hairdresser said to me, "You don't need to do the streaks anymore. You've got the streaks naturally now." But I
mm.
watch a lot of videos of hairdressers, and there's some very famous ones in Australia, especially in Perth. And people are spending like $3,000 and $4,000 a time on their hair, doing hair extensions,
Wow.
doing the coloring, doing all the products. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like, so, I mean, that's fine. Like that's their money. They're allowed to do what they want. But it's got really expensive sometimes with
It
that sort of
is.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm like you. I went through a phase. It would have been up until 2018. So probably
Mm,
from 2013 to 2018, I colored my hair a lot.
mm,
And I was like pink and purple and red and had streaks of different color. It was a long time. What probably annoyed me the most was how long it took because my hair is so dark. So they'd have to spend a lot of time kind of lightening it,
Mm,
then coloring it and all sorts of things. Um, but I stopped doing that. And I don't know if I've told this story before, but I stopped having super lots for two reasons, lots of color in my hair. I was doing interviews on a ward, a geriatric ward in a hospital, and I walked into a patient's room and she thought I was a clown.
mm.
I was wearing bright clothes as well, but my hair was bright purple. So, if you kind of took a step back, you would be like, and she was scared of clowns, so she got quite distressed and
oh
it
no.
was crying. There's a clown in my room. There's a clown in my room. And then I just backed out of her room. And the nurse was coming in to say, no, it's not a clown. And I said, no, but she thought it was a clown. Like I look like a clown. And so since then, I was like, okay, if I'm working in the space of like working with older people who have cognitive impairment or dementia, it's probably not a great idea. But also, when I got diagnosed with type 1, all my hair fell out. Not all of it, but a lot of my hair fell out and I felt like my hair was super fragile. And so I just didn't want to put it through
Mm,
the coloring process because that can be really damaging to your hair. So I just was like, nah, we're stopping. So, but talking, Luke, when you were talking about things that influenced your hair styles, there were a lot of movies that influenced my hairstyles when I was
mm,
in like that key age I feel of like 16 to 18ish when you're like in school. We had a lot of movies that were set in high schools and people were going to formals.
Mm.
So like 10 Things I Hate About You, um, She's All That. I don't know, there's all these movies and they all the females would always have their hair like in a little bun, but a cool bun with curls and everything. And then they'd
Oh
have
yeah.
like curls coming down on the two sides. I look back on it, I'm like, what? Anyway, and highly hairsprayed as well. Um, and so I had that look, and I wouldn't just keep it for a formal event. Like that would be my hairstyle to school every day, pinned up, curls,
Wow.
curls, madness.
Like Jessica Alba and all that, they all used to do that.
Yeah.
Because, when you're saying that, I was immediately reflecting, like during my time, we were all Molly Ringwood haircuts, like from 16
Oh,
Candles and all that, with that bob and the fringe. And that's the
Mm.
sort of hairstyle we were all carrying. Or you could also be carrying like I don't know if it was Madonna, but the big teased up hair, Pat Benatar and all that sort of stuff. A lot of people used to have that as well. To school too, Dash, like you're saying, with all the pins and all the stuff. I don't know. I could never be bothered to do that, even in the day. Couldn't be bothered to.
but were other people in your school doing it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the hair was pretty serious for some people. Yeah, just some people, it's just their signature, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
the Margaret Thatcher haircut. We all know exactly what that looks like. You know what I mean?
I know, so devastating.
If you guys were now to like conjure up in your mind, like close your eyes, conjure up an image of yourself, what
Mhm.
hairstyle do you have?
Now,
Yeah, if you were to just conjure it up now, what do you think?
well, at the moment, my hair is like I've kind of grown it. Not well, I flick it back. So I kind of have, what do you call this? I don't know. Like men often would have this back in the day.
Mm.
Anyway, it's a bit like pink,
A lick, an
a
Elvis
lick,
Presley
like
lick.
a Elvis.
Hmm.
I have an Elvis
Yeah.
Presley hairstyle.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
But there's a lot of women who sport this. Like Scarlett Johansson had a cut like this for a
Yeah.
while. Pink has
Yes.
a cut like this. And I just really like it because I actually don't have to do my hair. My hair naturally stands like this. So there's no hairspray in it.
Hmm.
I just push
You've
it.
trained it.
I
Yeah.
push. Well, I think my hair is very thick and very obedient to style if I've cut it right. Well, if my
Mm,
hairdresser has cut it right.
mm.
So I can wear it down, but I can easily push it up and it just stays like, but my mum's hair is the same.
Because when I was like when I close my eyes and I think about myself and like I envision me standing in front of me, I actually think of myself with like longer, shaggier hair than what I've got now. Do you think of yourself,
Hey,
yeah, do you like what you see in the mirror now is probably what you see yourself as when you close your eyes?
pretty
No, I
much.
see myself with a fringe.
Yeah.
What?
Like,
You two are
yeah.
blowing my mind.
Yeah,
What?
so
How is this happening?
I've only not had a fringe only recently. I used to always have a fringe, like always. And so, but now because my hairdresser wasn't here, the fringe just grew out. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
so I'd get a free fringe cut. Like if the fringe got too long, I'd go in and he'd give the fringe a trim. So I keep the fringe very long down here. And so I keep thinking to myself, I've got to go back to the fringe. But then I get scared. I think, oh, what if I don't like it anymore? What if I don't like having a fringe? And the other thing too, when I went through menopause, I lost a lot of hair.
Yeah.
A lot of hair. Like my hair used to be very, very thick. And that was actually really traumatizing as well. Because if you had asked me, like for years and years, what's the one feature about myself that I really liked, like the talking physical feature, I would have said to you, my hair is the
Mm.
one thing I really like because my hair was very thick and very, very shiny. And then when I got to menopause, I can't get over how much hair I lost. It was insane. Like I was never
Wow.
used to having a shower and hair coming out in my hands, and just all of a sudden hair's coming out. Like not enough that I'm going to go bald or anything like that, but I just can't get over the loss that I had. And the hairdresser keeps saying to me, because he's cut my hair now for like 15 years, oh, it'll come back, but I don't think it has. I don't think it's
Okay.
Mm.
come back like it did. I don't know whether that's because now a lot of the grey hair is quite different to my other hair. Like grey's just different, even its coarseness and everything. But yeah, I really mourn that as well, not having that beautiful thick hair. And now I can see why some people, I'm not that I'm going to do this, but people like my age get hair toppers and they get hair extensions
Mm.
and they get to
Mm.
thicken their hair back out again. I mean, I've got, I mean, you can talk about the texture of the hair as well. I think Luke, you and I might be very similar. Very, very fine hair, very, very fine hair. Whereas Dash, your hair's probably a lot thicker, as in the strands themselves.
Hmm. I don't have fine hair at all.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying, Luke, are you both, Fiona and Luke, seeing the hair you want as opposed to the hair you have? Like, do you actually want a shaggy hairdo, Luke?
No, not particularly.
Oh, then I'm so confused as to why you see yourself with that
Yeah, it's
hairdo.
just, I mean, it's like in between haircuts and hairstyles. I would say I'm a lot more in between hairstyles than I actually am sporting a
Ah,
hairstyle.
Mm.
And so it tends
okay.
to just grow out into like a bit of a shaggy kind of mop.
Okay. But do you want a fringe though, Fiona? It
I
sounds
think I
like.
do. Yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's
But
why you see yourself with a fringe.
yeah, I think I do. Like so, but it's just a matter of just, and then you got to retrain your hair again because you can actually train your hair to be a certain way.
Mm,
So because I've had my hair back for, a couple of years now, I've got to, if I get a fringe, it'll have to be, and I take a thick fringe. I go right from here, so very, very thick fringe. I'm gonna have to retrain my hair to do it. So the fringe will need to be cut down here because it will bounce, it'll bounce up. The other thing too that can change is I used to have the straightest hair. I could have one of those magnificent bobs where it was just so straight without me doing anything to it or products and that. But it's got curlier as I've got older. It's just
mm,
crazy how it's, again, the hair's
Change.
just changing, and now I've got this like curl to it, which I never had. But it's funny with your hair, like, I don't love my hair as much as I used to, but if I don't do anything to my hair, right? Like most often I barely dry it. I don't put any product in it. I use good shampoos though, I will say that. I use a very good shampoo because I'm worried about hair loss. But I get naturally all those ringlet curls when I just let it dry. And
mm.
so sometimes I'll go to work and people will, because I don't like to wear my hair up. And sometimes I go to work and people will go to me, "Oh, do you curl your hair overnight or do you do it in the morning?" And I'm like, "No, this is just my
What
hair.
happens?
It's
Yeah.
just my hair. I can't be bothered." But people ask me. The other thing too, so I think as you get older, so because I've seen the same patients for a long time, a lot of my older patients have said to me, "How did you let the grey grow in? How did you do that?" And we
Mm.
actually have a conversation around it. I've had that conversation multiple times with patients actually saying to me, "How did you let the grey grow in?" And I tell them, I just say, "Oh, I did this and then I streaked and then I did this," until finally my hairdresser goes, "We're there now." And then I've seen those patients since and they've let their grey come in. It's really fascinating,
To
Mm.
watch it.
yeah, to
Yeah.
watch it and to see as you get older how your hair changes and accepting the grey, just accepting. Because my dad is, what they call the silver fox. I wish I was that color. I want to fade to that color. I just so beautiful, so elegant. I want that color now.
It's kind of like the color, although hers is white, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Devil Wears Prada, what's
Oh
her
yeah,
name?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
See, my
yeah.
dad's white. My dad's white like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mm.
Did your hair change texture growing up, Luke?
I think only recently it's always been quite straight, but similar to you, Fee, like it's
Mm,
starting to curl a little bit.
mm,
Like particularly at the
Mm.
back. I used to have a very, very strong cowlick, like there would just be one part that would come all the way down.
yeah,
Now it's kind of thinning a little bit, so it's like a bit more even at the top.
yeah.
You guys both sound like you've got a pretty strong idea of what type of hairstyles you like, whereas I'm probably a little bit more malleable at the moment. Do you guys think that you've got one more really random out there hairstyle in you, or do you guys think that you're just going to be maintaining your current hairstyle for the foreseeable future?
I always change my hair.
Mm,
Mhm,
I think it's because I'm so influenced by pictures I see. And then I'm like, but it will stay in the same realm of it will be short. There'll probably
mm,
be some level of an undercut or shaving. But then it's like I've had asymmetrical cuts. And that's what I'm growing my hair to at the moment because it was quite short over summer. So this will eventually grow so I can like have it curly. I will say I had really straight hair as a kid, but probably when
mm.
I hit high school, so probably after um, getting my first period, it became curly.
Oh,
mm.
okay, okay.
Yeah, wavier, and so it can become quite curly. But I think I love experimenting with my hair, and my hair is part of my look. So I feel like it's a
Mm.
strong identity, like you were kind of talking about, Fiona. It's a very strong identity for me. And I do find it interesting because I notice other people's hair quite a bit. And if I ever see someone who has a really cool haircut that they're totally rocking, I will always comment on it.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
So
Fiona, are you going to change your hair?
I think I am. I think I am.
Hmm.
One week I think, oh yeah, I'm going to put a fringe in, and then the next week I think, thank God Jamie's not here this week because I would have done it. Now I don't want to. I think about it all the time. But I think, like my husband says, like if you don't like the haircut, it just grows out. And so I do have that attitude. I do have that attitude thinking it's just going to grow out, you know.
Hmm.
I have to be careful when I go to my hairdresser because I like him so much and we gossip away quite a bit. Like when I had my last haircut, which was a couple of months ago, he was cutting away and I said to him, look, I'm keeping the length. And then we were talking and he was cutting and then he goes, oh my God, I have to stop. He goes, because he goes, I'm just going to keep cutting while we talk. You know what I mean? Like, because he's just fiddling with my hair and he goes, we're
Hmm.
going to stop. We're just going to
Yeah.
stop. I'm like, okay, okay, we're going to stop. I did try another hairdresser when he first went to Italy to get, and I researched at length about people who cut hair dry, like at length, and then found a person. I thought, okay, I'll go see that person. But the haircut was fine, but I didn't gel with them on a level, if that makes sense as well,
Mm.
because I've got to gel with my hairdresser too. And I know this sounds weird because we don't know the same people, but it's got to be a bit gossipy and it's got to be a bit fun and it's got to be a bit, I don't know, it's almost like a stereotype. It's got to be fun when I go and
Mm.
see my hairdresser and I want to have a gossip with them. I don't want to sit there in silence. So, and even though, as I said, we don't know the same people, that seems to be an important part for me as well. The hairdresser's got to have a bit of personality. Yeah, a bit of
Mm.
personality as well.
Because my hairdresser now comes to my house,
Yeah.
whereas I used to see him at a salon. But what I miss is getting my hair washed and the head massage
Ah, yeah. Okay.
because that
Yeah.
doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But I would always get my hair washed after. So my hairdresser would often cut my hair dry or spray it a little bit because, like you,
Yeah.
I have a cowlick
Yeah.
and I have one section of my hair that grows in a totally different direction for no,
Yeah.
who knows
Mm.
why.
Mm,
Um, and so like sometimes he'll need to like spray down those sections, but generally and then it's only after it's been cut that it gets
mm,
washed and then it
mm,
gets like fiddled with
mm,
afterwards.
mm.
I'm sure there's technical terms for that. It's not fiddled, but anyway. But are you going to keep the same hair, Luke?
At the moment, it's just kind of growing out. There isn't really a style, but I think that there might be one big change within me. I'm just not sure what it is just yet.
Are there any celebrity haircuts you look up to?
No,
You think, oh,
I think it's
Oh,
it's probably more now just like a little bit more being attuned to my own hair as opposed to anyone else's because like
mm,
my hair is thinning more than like I think after I cut like all of my hair off, like it was really thick when I had initially like grown it out and cut it off, and I think after that it just started thinning a little bit more. So
mm,
it's more just being more attuned to like what my hair is like and what styles complement that.
mm. Can really make you or break you.
Yeah.
yeah,
It really can.
yeah, I
I
totally agree.
I always think teeth is number one and haircut's number two. I
Yeah,
really do. What people notice about you. You know, the
yeah,
Mm.
first impressions.
yeah. And I think particularly like if you're going to events or you're going for a job interview
Mm,
or, something important. Like I remember I was going to be filmed for a news story. And so I bought my hairdressing appointment a week early.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
had a fresh cut
yeah,
before I was on camera.
yeah,
And I also did that for a big panel event that I was on because I was just like, I know it will make me feel more confident if
yeah,
my hair
Mm.
is looking good.
yeah, yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
The power move a little bit, I guess. But I'm so jealous of the people who can afford to have their hair like maintained almost on a weekly basis. But then I also am like, oh God, who has the time? But
That's what I was thinking. Who has the time?
you often see like celebrities. I don't know if you watch that show Severance,
Uh,
and there's that actress. She has like the sharpest but coolest fringe, and it's really short.
yeah.
She gets that obviously trimmed every couple of days or so. Like
Wow.
it's because otherwise it would look
Does
ridiculous.
she look like that normally, though? Is that a wig?
I think she looks like that normally.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Google it. Might inspire your next haircut.
Yeah, right.